What is a trust? As an estate planning and probate attorney, of course, we get asked this one almost every day. And a lot of people come to us just completely overwhelmed. They started to read about a trust, they went down a rabbit hole online, and they're completely lost about what the heck a trust even is and what they can accomplish. So let's talk about what the heck a trust is to begin with. Now, a trust at its core is really just an agreement that you put together to hold on to property for you in the name of the trust, and then do something with the property at a later time. Most commonly, a trust is going to be written in a way that says, while I'm alive, yes, property is going to be in the name of the trust, but it's still mine for all intents and purposes. I can do whatever I want with that property. No one can tell me otherwise. And yeah, legally it's in the name of the trust, but it's all for my benefit, so there's no real difference. However, if I become incapacitated or if I pass away, I've put in this agreement what's going to happen in those scenarios. So in the case of incapacity, I've, number one, said how I'm going to be determined incapacitated. Doesn't have to be a doctor's note. There's other ways that can be determined to be incapacitated as well. But I've named who's going to step in, who's going to control assets for me, and manage those for my benefit during a period of incapacity. And of course, if I pass away, I've named someone that's going to step in, take control of the assets, and I've told them prescriptively what they're to do with the assets in the event that I die. It can be as simple as pass them on to my kids, or it can be pretty complex. But all of this is going to be done, importantly, outside of probate court. So because I took the time to put the agreement together ahead of time, before I die, and I didn't do it in a will, I did it in a living trust, or revocable trust. This is all going to bypass the probate process, and it's going to be dealt with around the kitchen table instead of in the court system. Now, a lot of people will then say, okay, cool, I like that. It's going to make sure that everything stays in my name while I'm alive, and if I die, it's going to go to my kids outside of court in a simple way. Sounds great. How much is it? And in truth, it depends. It depends on what we're setting up. You can get a flat fee for sure based on, simple wishes. I want everything to go to my kids equally outside of probate court and at a certain age. That's all I really care about. You can call around and get a flat fee for that. For most custom drafted attorney plans, it's going to be in the $3,000 to $5,000 range. We have our ready-made plans that are going to be less than that as well. If you have really simple wishes, like just want it to be out of probate court, go to kids at a certain age, and that's all I really care about, you can do those on our website for under $1,000 as well. Now, the problem with really getting into a specific price though is how much detail are we putting into your trust? How comprehensive are we making it? And this is where you have to understand that a trust is not a trust is not a trust. You can have a very simple software generated probate avoidance trust, and you can have a very bespoke, comprehensive attorney drafted trust that's going to cover a lot more contingencies. So what happens when one beneficiary passes away? How does that share get directed? That can be simple. That can be very complex. I have people that I help who need a spreadsheet to determine, if this, then that, and those if this, then that type of intricacies can get very complicated to draft, just depending on the actual wishes. Beyond that, how are the beneficiaries all inheriting? Is it as simple as a certain age they can inherit? Or are we going to hold things in trust according to certain standards? So are we going to protect a beneficiary from themselves in the case of a substance abuse or addiction problem? Are we going to safeguard public benefits if somebody is on public benefits? Are we going to protect the beneficiary from future divorce or future creditors? Are we going to arm them with the tools necessary to avoid that? Are we going to plan ahead and avoid probate for the next generation as well by structuring it in a way that the beneficiary has use of the property, and then when they die, it goes to their children or whoever we say? All of those things can get more complex in how we draft the trust and how much work goes into customizing it. And based on those wishes, based on how comprehensive we're making it, that's where you'll get a big range as to the pricing of a trust. Because a lot more work goes into a comprehensive trust than does a simple probate avoidance trust. So if you're calling around looking for pricing, just bear in mind a trust is not a trust is not a trust. So when you get one quote, and then another one that sounds, double it, it's just wildly different. It's because the trusts that those people have in mind are probably wildly different. One's very simple, one's much more comprehensive. Now, if you want to know about the different techniques that are out there from, doing nothing to doing a will to beneficiary designations, simple trust through software, comprehensive trust that's attorney drafted, advanced planning. If you want to know about all the kind of spectrum of options that are out there for putting together a trust and estate plan and the typical costs involved in each of them and what each of them can accomplish, we've put together a free seminar that's going to walk you through all of those available options. If that sounds interesting to you, just click the link below in the video description and it'll take you over to that seminar, which you can watch at your leisure, and I'll see you there.